Hi, I'm David E. Feldman, author of the Dora Ellison Mystery Series and the Hammer and Sharp Mystery Thrillers, which can be found at davidefeldmanauthor.com. Today, I want to tell you about the Kimberly Cloud Show. I was recently Kimberly's guest, and I found her insightful, smart, kind, and extremely supportive. I highly recommend her show, which can be found on most podcast and streaming platforms. Take my advice and check out the Kimberly Cloud Show. I think you'll be glad you did.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I never did that before. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. Today, I am doing editing a video. I didn't know what I wanted to do today because I take my time very seriously. I'm going through all my paperwork in my book bag. I'm going to contact my teacher again and UMGC on Monday. But what did I do today? Let me tell y'all what I did today. I did something I normally don't do. I sat up there and went on to speed dating. And the reason why I have a purpose, I always have a purpose. This isn't going off on a tangent, this is being honest. Um, I think that's healthy. You know, I suggest to people that are um, looking for serious and scanning more thoroughly and easily because people can explain the world to you and paint a picture that they're one way and they're not. So I think that this is healthier, very healthier alternative. Um, I met a woman that hosted the event. It was like 100, less than 100 people there, and she was very kind and polite, beautiful. Um, I hugged her at the end. Um, when I don't want no one to know who I am and want them to see who I truly can be and am, I show them before you know who I am. That way, you won't think that I'm like that or it was ever directed towards women like you. And if I offended you with some of the things I did, it was never about you. Don't take it personal. Don't allow someone else to make you take it personal. So I appreciate you. If I knew your name, I would say it. I seen like 12 people. I seen Hispanic, I seen white, I seen Puerto Rican, pretty good people. I say to myself, out of all the people I saw, why can't they find love? Why are they in the same boat as me? So it was so healthy and curiosity and creativity was kicking in. And I said to myself, I was like, what is it that you do? You have family, friends. How are you alone? You know how men who run game, they they be like, you look too good to be alone. The people that I met were too look way too good to be alone. They the deal breaker was about 45, 50%, half the population. No, probably 65%. Is that they were all between 23 and 49. I'm like, no, I am a grandmother. I have standards. It's not that they're ugly, and I made them all know that they were very attractive. I don't do that. I'm not like that. I don't care if you're of age. I don't care if you're 21. 21, that's 20 years. I'm 20 years. I'm not a cougar. It just weirds me out, literally. It weirds me out. Um, and I'm not desperate. And I would love to network with them. And I would love to get to know them on a more business personal level. So I gave out my number to those IT techs and engineers that I met, and people that knew politicians that I met. And I'm gonna keep doing it because this is healthy. When you are isolated, not because you want to be, but because you somewhat have to be, because you're alone, you have to really be careful about who you let in your circle, because one wrong move can cost you. And I'm sick and tired of the same game. Um, the first person I met was a very, very, I hope that they call me. Um, but I'm so busy, I'm not gonna let it dwell on it or make my sweat off my forehead drip. However, it was a nice gentleman, and most of them were veterans too. Um, if you're out there and you know who I am, thank you. Thank you for watching my show. Thank you for being interested in me. Thank you for being a, a a good person for what you do. All of y'all have stories. And I'm thankful to have heard all of y'all stories. That made my day. It wasn't about who I can Jones or whatever. It was about who I can connect with outside of that place. Network. And that is my goal. And so, even if they don't call, it was definitely worth it because I meant every word I say to each of you, even the Puerto Ricans. I have to joan on him though. He was so cute. He had like braids. I'm getting to a point before I do my movie and edit, but he was so funny because I was like, "Hi," he was like, "You're not from here." Yeah, our style is different. I was like, "Oh, what do you mean by that?" Like nice gentleman, big ambitions, very very attractive. However, I the deal breaker was that he was too young. I was like, no, I don't, I, ugh. And I asked each of them if they wanted to be interviewed. So if you want to be interviewed, complimentary, of course. I told you guys, it's simple. This wig, it can come off and be thrown away. My hair can be cut off and donated. My eyelashes can be thrown away. My earrings can be thrown away, destroyed. What do you do after you drink water and purchase water? You buy it, you drink it, and you piss it out. My show, the Kimberly Cloud Show, you do it and it's forever. There's no pissing out, there's no throwing away. Once it's out there, it's out there. And I told each of you, you have a story. And I meant it. I didn't disclose that I'm a candidate for president. I didn't disclose only but to one person that I ran for state Senate and US Senate. I withheld that. Um, it wasn't about that. It was about what is on all of these men's mind and the woman. I don't care to talk about me. On my show, I talk about me all the time, but this wasn't about me. It was partially about me, but it was more so to learn about people. I have a gift. It's a lot of people have gifts. That's why they call them gifts. However, my gift, I feel good talking and learning and coaching and giving advice and receiving advice to different people, both women and men. Um, I enjoy, if you're out there watching, you guys, every one of y'all held something unique and have potential to be in a serious relationship with some woman. I know it's hard being single. I'm a bachelorette. It's not, it's like, it's hard, but it's easy, but it's hard. You don't have no one nagging you, you know. However, you're independent. You have to love yourself and be able to tolerate being alone with yourself. That way, your standards, your rules can be drawn on a table before a relationship ever pick up. If you don't love yourself, which I hate to say it, people swear they do, then why won't you leave an abusive relationship? Because you're afraid of being alone. Your worth is way more than an abusive relationship. That's both towards men and women. And we're all looking for love. And I'll be the first to admit that it did my heart good to be able to see those people when I saw them. And I'm not saying that I will be able to interview someone right away. However, I want them to know that each of you holds something special for a woman. Maybe 1 to 2% was being a little deceitful, but for the majority, maybe 20% out of 100 come there just to get laid. Or maybe more, I don't know. But no one talked about getting laid. No one talked about sex. They only wanted to know me. It's not about that. And the lady there, I wish I knew her name. Thank you. I meant what I said. You are an amazing individual. That this today was a really good day. 3-7 at 7:47. And the light is just blinking. Really weird. So yeah, I appreciate you guys for everything. However, I'm going to move on. 10 to 17 minutes is more than enough. I'm early to the party. Really, Father Time? You gonna make me wait for it? Anyway, I'm about to get started. I haven't used this tool in a while. Oh, this is about to be a fun segment. Did I? Oh, let me delete some stuff. Hold on, y'all. Open file. Go all the way down. I got so much stuff. Move to trash. I gotta write back someone that gave me a review on the Better Business Bureau. Just give me some time. I'm not ignoring you. Okay. Bear with me. You guys, how are y'all doing? I always say, no one stops to ask God how they doing. But y'all, no one stops to ask how y'all doing and mean it. And I know I'm on camera, it kind of looks suspect, but I'm being honest. How are y'all? I hope y'all having a great day. Let me get out 2 videos. Be just a little dream. What is going on? I see more me. Something ain't right. August 25th, August 22nd. I went from August 20th to August 22nd. August 18th. Let me show you guys. I gotta get him. This is the perfect video. Download. So we are putting this on DCTV, Manhattan Neighborhood Network. But first, we're gonna download the recording. Before I log in, let's do this. Um, Hi, as Lisona. I did this one already. I think I put it in the vault. I went there. Let this just sit. I wish it had a timestamp date on it. Have you ever been so sick or tired of being sick or tired that you said, I can't do it no more? I want you to do yourself a favor. Count how many times you try before you give up. Count the last try and count how many times you tried. And then try again. And then when that doesn't work, try again. I can't just delete all of it. I have to do it separately because I cut it up in pieces. Oh, this is going to be forever. I want some music. Almost finished. Almost finished. Almost. It's cold. Mm. I know there's another way. There's got to be another way, but I could be. Okay, now go here, 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 here. Ah, Change the name. We don't need Dave Turner up there when we got Stephen Howard now. How did I change it? Okay. Stephen Howard. Y'all about to be mad at me. I need to get the heater. It is straight cold. What is the temperature? I got it 70. I hate when I say that. Do y'all not know how much discipline it takes to write 21 books? I only wrote 2 books. and that was only shy of 70 pages. They couldn't even edit that right. Like, you're a reputable company that couldn't even before I was known, Harry's ghostwriting. If I could go back and get my money back, I would. Bad experience. And it was another ghostwriter. It was another company that did absolutely nothing. Now we don't need people like you no more. Actually, I can write a book using Chat GPT, because if you can't even edit, if your team can't even edit because of their hatred towards one woman, it shows. It was an Asian woman named Jessica. I never forget her for putting my book out there crooked, corrupted, and destructed. No one is getting paid, so I wouldn't even recommend buying my book. If I could track the money I placed on that, I would definitely easily get my money back. Well done, Stephen Howard. He said he has a Mandarin, which he calls Chinese version of his book. A benefit. Benefit. All my young whippersnappers out there, I would suggest you get into market sales, some type of entrepreneur, IT, engineering, stuff that is relevant. But you know, one thing that kind of disappointed me is that the job market, it's true. One guy said that the job market, he got a bachelor's in engineering, went through all that school in computer engineering, and they're looking for not only a bachelor's but 5 years experience. How the hell you gonna get 5 years experience? What you gonna do? That is so wrong. This isn't just about Boise. Oh, good news. Boise government is linking up with ICE. Did y'all see it in the paper? ICE. ICE. Baby. The government approved that. So anyway, yeah, like, they said they had a bachelor's degree, and but they need 5 years experience. He said, tell me about harmony in the workplace. This is what sets him on his own individual mission of writing from everybody else. Tell me, home alone, no challenges, just regular, normal challenges, independent challenges. Family life, challenges, family challenges. Work life, chaos. People of different backgrounds. Even when we don't want to judge, I even do it. We judge. And harmony in a workplace. Do you see harmony in a workplace at McDonald's? Do you see harmony in a workplace? You know, Bob is always talking about Joseph, and, you know, Bob, the supervisor, is on his high horse, because he's the supervisor. And I can turn it and flip it and say, because she the supervisor. But it doesn't matter whether male or female, certain people in certain positions, they get in power and they lack depth. They lack a foundation. They got lucky, or they were strategically placed there because their lack thereof, and easy to be controlled, to complete the bare minimum agenda. If they can't control the workplace as a supervisor without taking sides, you should be able to walk in a room or a production floor safely without no one trying to say, don't like him, like me, and let's be in a clique together. Those aren't the words that get said. They're silent, subtle. It's what you do in action. Come over here with me, let's talk. Forget about him. Or just slightly come over here with me. Subtle clues. And then that supervisor be in a clique with that group. Deep down inside, people know when they're being used. We play, even I, a dependent game. I don't do it as much as everyone else, but I ask people questions that sometimes I already know. And that has nothing to do with nothing. However, a supervisor should not be in a clique. He should be hated. But the fear of rejection, which everyone has, causes a shift where they would rather be inside with 10 people than to help the one person that's actually doing the job. So when he say to these people while living in Asia, is the work environment harmonized, and they laughed at him, I see why. A group and a team are two different things. I didn't know this prior to till I read something. But a team, what is a team, you guys? A team is someone who works from, they come together from different departments, human resource, IT, what else? You know what I'm trying to say. I don't, communications team. Um, any team. There's multiple teams in corporations and businesses. And they develop the CEOs an agenda, mission, and vision statement and business plan. After they do this, they consult through meetings and engagement, either one-on-one or in group, well, in a whole place with many people. And they go over their vision, what they expect out of the supervisor. This supervisor has two choices: to either listen or cut corners. Sometimes the CEO is okay with them cutting corners. You want to know an example of cutting corners? Perfect example of cutting corners. Have you ever tried to call Xfinity? It's no way that the CEO of Xfinity don't know what their paid, 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 unpaid employees are doing. And most of them are foreigners. And they play on the phone. They ask you, they dare to ask you for proprietary information. So how does the CEO not know of Xfinity how corrupt below it is? But see, everybody wins. They get their proprietary information and things get leaked. That's a bad but good example of a very questionable vision, mission, business plan, statement, whatever. Anything to tell the supervisor, hey, look, I have a vision that I want you in a year to have this done. However, it's going to take 3 months, a quarter, to do it this way. You have to get it done in the 3-month mark in order to get to the next stage. The second phase, another 3-month mark. Third phase, another 3-month mark. And fourth phase, another 3-month mark. So they put a team together. And this team, they have to work together, whether they like each other or not. This isn't like college. You can't just get someone, you can, but then they risk lawsuit. But this isn't like school where you can't just, because you don't like somebody, unless you're in a clique and know the leader, like I said previously, you can't just dismiss someone out of the group or team because you just don't like them. You have to work with them. That's an unrealistic agenda because they have just as much talent as you. They were hired just like you were. They were screened just like you were. They are educated just like you were. So a team production floor of many different genres within the organization or corporation. A group is similar interests. That's where they come from one sector. Let's say, perfect example, Convergys or Lorca. That's where I used to work. And it was a call center for AT&T before after, what was it, Singular Wireless before AT&T. I can't believe I had a Singular Wireless bill. But I used to work for AT&T, and they had certain sections of the call center. It was a big old production floor. And I made $10 an hour and worked 10 hours to 11 hours. That was good money back then. No one can live off of 10 hours or $10 today. That still was below the means. Ain't nothing. However, they had the quality team, they had the manager team, they had the call center where the main team was, they had the escalation team, they had so many teams or groups. Well, within those teams are groups. Their mission, they work the same mission and they complete the same goal. Teams, they get extracted from different places to complete a goal. Sort of like, y'all remember that movie Frozen? Y'all remember that movie Frozen? Don't think much of it, right? I still haven't seen that movie. I saw the beginning. However, Frozen was about um I don't know what it was about, but I read. What caught my attention was how it was created, not me watching it. A lot of engineers, a lot of scientists sat down and I asked myself, why? Why does 10 engineers sit down? 30, why do 10 engineers and sit down and come up with a game plan for a cartoon? 30 men underground doing mine work were trapped like 40 feet. I seen this on a TEDx talk. They sat up there and a bunch of engineers and scientists got together. And there was some tension, but it got done. You can say you like everybody but me. What were you doing before me? Try to do it now without me. And it's just, it's beautiful how engineers and scientists come up with technology. It all started with a mirror, a glass, and low grade equipment. If you like movies and stuff, do y'all remember the Bionic Woman back in the 20s or 30s? What she had on? They say that her moves, she was wearing this, it was in black and white, and two people recreated what she did. More than two, but two people got immediate recognition because they're Lady Gaga and Beyonce. I'm getting to a point. Um, so the Bionic Woman was wearing all gold-plated metal and was dancing, and it was a bunch of men, and it was like, dang, you know. And then Lady Gaga, decades later, Lady Gaga come up with Paparazzi. Before that, Beyonce come up with Sweet Dreams. You see the pattern? Do you remember the videos? Every woman wants to feel empowered. Old. Don't ever doubt. I want to give a message and then I'm gonna move back on to editing. Don't ever feel like you're less than because you're older or you may have gray hair or you may be bald or you may have cancer or you may be just plain miserable. I don't care about the miserable ones. I care about the ones that are insecure. You're born with the diapers as a child. You die. Some of y'all are lucky enough to die with a diaper. So you're born into this world with a diaper. Some are old enough to expire like that. But remember this, when you die, energy never dies. Your shell does, your story goes on. However, you're beautiful. I don't want nothing from y'all but to tell you that. Find what makes you happy. You don't have to dress like me. You don't have to dress like her. You don't have to dress like her. Don't sit and be miserable because spent you have spent your whole life doing something that did not make you happy. Find what makes you happy. Create to the corporate world harmony in the workplace. That's what's on your agenda now. 1 year from now, your mission, vision, business plan is to create harmony, not favoritism, not stigmatization, not finger pointing. Those are some powering words. Led people. Is that true? I want y'all don't have to respond. Do you want to be led? Do you want to be developed? Do you want to be taught? Do you want to be mentored? You don't want to go into work saying, oh my God, Mark Zuckerberg is getting on my freaking nerve. He cut my pay, bro. He cut your pay. That nigga cut my pay. No, I'm just playing. And then they wonder why they get fired, you know. You're like, oh, what did I do? Everything that I do, if I have negative repercussions, I stand by everything I do. But if I know I'm in the wrong and I know I have flaws, I gladly apologize. I suggest to all my corporate leaders that watch me out there, I'm sorry. I suggest to all my corporate leaders that watch me out there, invest and you have money to invest in technology to pre-screen your employees and monitor them using AI. That's another patent I'm going to patent. Use the technology to monitor their behavior post interview, wait, pre interview, screening, post interview, duration of employment. Make sure you explain to them quarterly what they're doing for your company, how they have contributed, and how you want to retain them and have good retention instead of a non voluntary turnover. Another thing to the corporate leaders on the edge, remain healthy, stay positive. That's the only way a business will work is to remain healthy and have good eating, sex, life choice, good life choices, healthy you can't be too healthy, but healthier life choices. You come as a manager smoking cigarettes and drinking to oblivion and doing heavy drugs, you're not going to make it. Or not taking your proper mental health medication, not giving yourself a chance to meditate, not giving yourself a chance to listen to all types of music and talk to God. God is number one out of all those things I said. Talking to God is number one. People say they want to talk to God, but God never answers. It, the entity, God, answers. I don't want to say whether it's a he or she. The entity is just so weird to me. I'm sorry. I'm not an atheist, but it's just so weird that women are partially, in a way, suppressed from the Bible. And we must have to know that only we know. All we know is that God is a man. Who? Does he has a name? God. Okay. What? Where's the location? Y'all keep claiming the location. Y'all put it on a dollar bill. Y'all put it in pyramids. That's all I'm saying. And They wouldn't have added an extension, goddess, feminine. And it's like, it it bothers me a little. It do not sit well with me. I'm not saying God is not a man, but something is known and is not being stated. Somebody is pinging, religion is pinging off of government. And everybody is saying they praise the Lord, which to praise the Lord, you're actually praising Zeus. $90 billion Catholic churches made just for prayers. Some people would never be in a Catholic church. But if Catholic churches were so powerful and precious and very honest, then why are there pedophiles in there? And the majority is what? The ranking system is the majority is men. I didn't make the rules. But women are suppressed. I'm okay with that. However, not purposefully suppression, but some type of hidden known thing that maybe, I mean, just think if Hillary won the presidency, just think if Christy Nome didn't get fired, or what happened with Christy Nome. Certain women, I'm not saying whites, I'm saying all races, certain women don't deserve to be in power. They abuse their power. I've seen it. I don't care if you believe this is to be a delusion. I don't care if you believe it to be unrealistic or a grandiose ideation. I've seen it happen to me a lot. And I'm like, wow. Hillary Clinton in power. Look at the power she has now and what she has done. If you were innocent, why delete emails? Who delete a bunch of emails? If you were innocent, then why did Trump fire you? Why are people now being investigated? Which I once told Trump to do months ago. I said, your chain of command is going to flip. And I think in order to win this thing, you need to shuffle people around. Those were my exact words. I didn't say Christy no. I didn't know. I didn't know he demoted her. I didn't say she was fired. The TV said she was fired. Hillary, the government said Hillary wouldn't be president, not me. You all said you didn't want her as president, and me. But I was so naive back then. I was like, wow, maybe because she's a woman. All I saw was a woman. And some of y'all, that's all y'all see. Just like with Kamala Harris. You don't see any nappy headed. Kamala is not nappy. nappy-headed, mark having, flaw having, mental health having, minority, woman, veteran type business doing any of that. I'm I I just can't fathom, like I enjoy what I do. And I don't see how certain women, certain, do that to other women. Because if it ain't me, it's another woman you're doing it to. When I'm out the picture, who didn't you like? It was always another woman or another thing that annoyed you. Therefore, you will always be annoyed of someone, which means you have a jealousy issue. Now, I admit in the workplace, if someone's beautiful, if someone's talented, more talented to me, I may come off as jealous, but I'm trying to scream what I can say to you to keep encouraging you. That's the first thing that I think when I am talking to somebody that is overly qualified. And Hillary, Kamala Harris, Michelle Obama, um, my whole name, my whole name is famous. Kim Jong-un, Kim, male, masculine name. Kimberly, another feminine, powerful name. Cloud, where don't you see cloud? And Michelle, my middle name. Should I go further? My day is my birthday, is July 3rd. What comes after July 3rd? Independence Day. So this gentleman was just mentioning about the workplace not being harmonized. So the key takeaways are make sure you remain healthy. Don't overdo anything. Too much sex is bad because then you can't. That's why they say too much of anything is bad. Imagine wanting sex all the time. How you wouldn't be able to concentrate in the workplace. That's why there's sexual harassment. So nothing is perfect, but the corporate leaders should work at making it harmonistic, not perfect, not making it, weaponizing it, where if you don't like someone after a couple of months, you fire them, or you just ignore what the supervisors are doing as long as the fast paced, high turnover continues. Another thing, for at least 100 years or more, even before writing about it was in, it was a silent code. Let me see what I said. Hold on, y'all. So the punishment, what happens when we do bad at work, we get punished. I can see a bunch of a black group, not team, but group, getting together talking about, man, yesterday he got on my nerve. But today, if this MF keep testing my nerves, I'm gonna go to jail. Man, you know you gotta wife your kids. No, today. Always messing with me, man. Let this MF do it one more time. They always say it's one more time. And then here come the manager. Sir, you know, you were absent to the meeting today. Man, my wife, man. However, you should know that you probably have personal issues. But that doesn't mean that you can come in late because you have issues. You're supposed to call. And then the vision, which popped in both of y'all heads because y'all wondering where I'm going with this. He either can get violent, deny, which is three, or accept and learn and grow from constructive criticism. Some people bring themselves to work and then they're there as an extra body. They learn very well how to get over on the system. We all do it. We all do it to a degree. We get hired, we talk to our manager, we learn who we like, who we don't like, who we will hang around. We isolate from others because others silently say, if you talk to them, I'm not talking to you. You know, simple job complex. But then we learn our job and we figure out ways to get away with coming in late or um, going to work and not do all the work, cut corners, you know. Some people do it. However, I don't undercut corners. There's one thing to cut corners healthy and unhealthy. Sleeping in a car, which I've never done, on a government pay grade is unacceptable unless you're staking someone out. If you work for disease in control or research disease and control, which Biden invested millions, if not billions, into before he left to study different diseases in America. You know, they sit up there and they study this. Why are you sleeping in a car if you're supposed to be studying diseases? But then you make it after you get fired to a rally, an anti-Trump rally, and you get publicity to talk about Trump, free publicity, or probably even paid. When deep down inside, you were asleep in a car on government time. You're mad because you got caught. If I ever got caught doing something illegal, I can't get mad. I can't retaliate. I can't hit someone because I've been caught. I hope that helps. Another cut corner, healthy cut corner alternative. Um, interview after the interview and they're on the production for 3 months. Get acquainted with them and set rules. But also don't make sure that they are available mentally. I'm hungry. Stephen Howard, I'm sorry to hear your dad had Alzheimer's. My advice, that's something else I want to patent. You know how to put an image. Why don't we reverse engineer the brain? That's what we did, right? Right? So, how don't we know what causes Alzheimer's? They know, right? It's fact that they know, but then what is classified about Alzheimer's that other people, like us mere civilians or citizens, don't know? Why are there so many books on major personalities? DSM-6, I think. I think it's a 5. I don't know if they made a DSM-6. They claim a 6 will never come out. Um, however, that book, your toe could be green and you mad at your toe for being green. And that is a symptom. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. That is a symptom. Normal is a symptom. Over normal is a symptom. Bipolar, then you got bipolar, you got so many anxiety. Don't think you're not labeled either. If you do have mental health, whether you like music, therapy, I suggest you listen and flood your mind with a bunch of music and think, not think about the song, which it seemed like that's all I do. I think about my next move. It's not that the music holds me hostage. It's just it's that it's hard to explain how I listen. Let me explain something to you that I did a long time ago, and then I'm gonna move on and watch 10 minutes of this straight and just edit it. Multiple times, and I didn't do it on purpose, but something didn't feel right. I forgot why I got a CAT scan. Same with, have y'all heard of the equipment that go on top of your head that helps alleviate anxiety, depression, and everything? And etc. All symptoms. They got that new thing on the market. They even got horse tranquilizer, which I would never do. Or they're looking into that. They're looking into electric shock therapy. That's helpful too. They got, so that's extreme case, but that's definitely, I stand by that. It sounds crazy now. If this was 1940 or 30 and first generation of psychiatry, I wouldn't want to be nowhere near a psychiatric facility. But we're in 2025 where symptoms can be controlled with the right therapeutic techniques. And the reason why I'm on this subject is because someone out there needs to hear this, that it's not over for you because you have mental health. If someone want to stigmatize you and address you as under them, then respectfully decline and walk away. You don't need them. That's them, not you. Don't put yourself in a situation to allow them to belittle you because you told them your truth. Be proud of who you are. If the government can allow veterans to work at the VA, why can't I be allowed to run my race with mental health and stability as POTUS, President Candidate of the United States of America? That's where I'm getting at. I mean, it's not like I'm going to be getting ghetto service if I ever worked at the White House. It's not like I'm going to be going to Planned Parenthood, paying a copay, talking about, I need y'all to figure out what's wrong with my neck. These are doctors from Walter Reed and probably even out of the world, literally. It's no way that my mental health could be exacerbated under proper, good, excellent, superior care. It's not like going to a regular doctor. And with the proper support, the proper people, it could be a good, healthy race. I I don't want to do it, like be president or even come close to that. And this is just this state. And some people are so jealous. It's like I only put my name in the FEC portal, which is the main portal, and Ballotopia updated it, which is verifiable. Everybody, I'll rewind, I'll say this and I'll move on. 6 years old, you want to be president. Mommy, I want to be president. You can be anything you want, baby. 12 years old. Mommy, I want to be president. Keep going to school and you may achieve that goal. 18. I want to be president. You need to go to college. That's an unrealistic goal. If you want to get in the government, go to school for government. But being president is something, is an unrealistic goal. As you get older, people tell you what you can't do or what other they think other people are doing. You can't mind read for other people. And I love the fact that I made history very quietly. I can't campaign trail, but I hashtag the shit out of every chamber in the United States. I bring them to me. Some of them don't like me. It's okay. I can't get mad at y'all for that. I can only run my race and be myself. I'm not going from state to state. I don't know it all. Ask me about foreign policy, I'll tell you, I know that China don't like us. I know that Iraq don't like us. I know that China and Russia has been colluding with giving warheads and equipment to Iraq. If I had to develop a policy off top of my head, it would go like this. Bare minimum ties with China, but observational to the degree of exceptional screening and monitoring from the Chinese regime. I would annihilate Iraq and its government. I'm not repeating what Trump said. I would annihilate everything. Even if someone else, once I annihilate the person that wants to, been saying for 47 years, death to America, I would wait, which I know Trump will. This is the part you don't know. This is the part they possibly leaked online and certain intelligent people know. He's going to wait. He's going to wait and see who big and bad going to come in and say, I'm next, kill me. And guess what he's going to do? No more. Will we sit on the Democrats' incompetence as they sit up there and destroy 47 years. They couldn't get it right. They've been huffing and puffing and no results. They said the exact thing that Trump has done. All of them. One man. Everything he say he gonna do, he's done. He's so in front of the Democrats that he's running circles. He's inventing new shit. He's like, well, I'm about to come out with this law that do conditional reconstruction for the future of our USA. And it's new, and this will keep certain things afloat for the next 50 years. And the Democrats be like, no, what is that? No, you shouldn't do that. Take off your mask. That kill me, man, when they say that crap. That's how much influence people have in our country when they're demanding the Democrats to go to the media to tell ICE to take off their mask because they want to identify who they are. Go back and do it, but they're allowed to do it. Go back, do that with your president. Go back to your country and do that with your president. Don't ever come here trying to regulate shit like you're the president. The Democrats fold all the time for them because they need them. But deep down inside, your president, former president, Barack Obama, not me, not Trump, not no one Republican, they put children in cages in Mexico. So I said to myself, and then your other former president, which was prior vice president, he's done some stuff. As you guys were crossing the border through the rivers and lakes and streams, people were actually literally dying in those lakes to get over. More casualties. But y'all didn't care about that. All y'all cared about was getting over here. This is an immigrant ran United States, and I like it that way. However, I don't want it uncontrollable. And I don't want the wrong people in power. Right now, I hate to say it, but the cartels controls the Democrat Party. Who else would go down, all the way down? Funny. Who would actually go all the way down to another country, a politician, that just to have lunch? Just to have lunch, y'all? And the media was around. On Biden's watch, there was cocaine in the White House. On Obama's watch, as he was stepping out, 30 to 40 people were sent to Wuhan laboratories under his authority. And as soon as Trump got into office, the COVID happened. You got some, oh, Donald Trump. I couldn't speak to somebody. I would not be able to speak to another man who brought 40 people to China, Americans. And I won't say the rest, but you figure it out. Nine 11. Perfect cover up. Millions dead. Paid off. When I was 17, I saw a man fall out the Twin Towers and they filmed it all the way down to his death. I saw the Pentagon burn. Them bastards should have got lit up for performing that sadistic shit on our land, on our planes. Innocent people were killed. They learned our system. And some people turned their fucking backs and pretended, which keep pretending. You're going to have to pretend for life. I saw the Pentagon burn. I smelt it from my school. I was 17 years old, and the The sound went off in my classroom and they said, go home. I looked to my right and I saw smoke coming out of the Pentagon. And I said, what the fuck is going on? There was no real cell phones back in the day. I went home. I was briefed on what was going on. And then they said a plane fell in Pennsylvania, New York, and DC. That's how much they hate us. They can't go out and build their own power without a nuclear weapon. They need, they want what we have. It's just pure hate. There's no sugarcoating it. And would you take a deal with China? Would you? Some of y'all saying no, some of y'all saying yes. But would you really? China picked up, China is no better than the natives that enslaved some people. China built or made a deal and built the Silk Road in Africa. They took the deal. They slaughter white women in Africa. It infuriates me that I have to take up for them because it's the right thing to do. And it infuriates me, not for a negative reason. Don't fall off the line. I'm not finished talking. If you fall off, oh well. It infuriates me that they slaughter y'all. However, the ones that take up for these individuals that will kill, Trump was fighting for that. He was fighting to keep and prevent all people of all races in Africa, the continent, from dying at those monsters' hand. And for the record, I'll say it again to everyone. Don't get mad at the white man for enslaving us. Look in the mirror at yourself and then look at Africa and then look at what they allowed. They could have fought. They could have said no. But your own black African, purebred Africans took the deal. So you can't get mad because we were looked at as property. It was only business. And you can't say it wasn't when some people stand out on the street and will kill another black person in exchange for some Jordans, a jacket, some jewelry. You do it to each other. And then you point to the KKK and they're like, I have no beef with you. Keep doing what you're doing. And you just do what you do. So technically, they don't have to do shit. Because your mind isn't on the important shit. Your mind is on territory. You have a good big ambitions. Why don't you be an architecture then? Go back to school to be an architecture. Learn territories that way. But don't be out there on the government. Yes, nigga, the government property. Claiming territory on government property. Everywhere you walk, everywhere you beat your feet is government property. And you just sector out on a block talking about that's your block. No, you didn't develop that street. It don't say your fucking name. You will be an old you see, has anybody made it to being 60, 70 years old on a block? That ain't your block. That's why I don't get mad. I just watch and observe. And I'd rather be annoyed with other races than to have to worry about whether you're going to take my fucking life because you don't like what I'm saying. You have no right except what I say. We need to work on ourselves and stop playing the blame game. Yes, racism do go on. I experience it. However, don't blame everybody. If I hated white people, I wouldn't listen to white people's music. If I hated black people, I wouldn't listen to black people's music. If I hated Hispanics, I would not dare listen to Hispanic music. If I hated rap as a whole, if I hated all rappers, I wouldn't listen to rap. I would just put on a fancy fake display as this prissy little black girl that only listens to white people music. That's not realistic. And it's like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy out here. I'm okay with identifying people. This is why you want to know, Boise, why I moved here? One, because it's predominantly white. It has nothing to do with wanting to be with a white man, even though I like white men. I, so it has everything to do because I knew the pros and I knew the cons. Not many black people are here. There's not many wig shops. Um, the population is low. Um, it snows. It doesn't snow. It's it's been a mild winter. Um, Low income, low rent, all plus. Now, the downfall is that, yeah, you have some people that are possibly prejudiced. You have some people that are immature. And did I know that risk coming in? Yes. Am I going to keep complaining? Yes. However, I'm not going to dwell or I'm not going to freaking mess up my life for no one. So you can annoy me and I'll annoy you back. But as far as hitting goes, I don't hit. I'm here for love. I'm here for to network. I'm here for companionship. I'm here for friendship. I'm not here to hate on people or what they do wrong. But something is unacceptable. It's very unacceptable when a black man kills another black man for a pair of Jordans. And this was in 2002. That's just one isolated incident I know about. I can bring up my brother. I can bring up that he was shot in the chest, and everyone in that house was supposed to die. It was 10 of us in that house. Majority, 70% were children. And I was getting ready to go to the army. And that black man, if the screen door wasn't, because they were looking for drugs, I guess, or revenge for the stuff my brother has done to other black men and other people. Right then and there should have been a wake up call. He called my name. It's like our DNA is connected. My mother and my DNA, your mother, your DNA. But he's always on joke time. My brother was. He was like a joker. If you had to describe him, he was just like the Joker. He he would call my name and then play sleep. Because it was nothing but children in the house. And I'm 18 and they're like 15 on below. And so, like, things he used to do, I'm coming up with a point. He used to put hot sauce in my mouth, and I wake up and I feel and it be burning. And those are normal pranks. Stabbing a lady in the leg several times, that's not a normal prank. Stabbing my picture that I bought from Korea, that's not a normal prank. But these were normal pranks. That night, I went to sleep, and when I used to sleep, and I had I used to drink, um, I used to sleep hard. Out of all people, he's downstairs like I'm downstairs. I'm way upstairs in a bed. He's shot. He calls my name. I I never I go back to sleep. I didn't want to hear the shit. But something, because of our DNA being connected, said something was concerning. So I had an attitude. I got up. I went downstairs and he was bleeding out of the chest. And I started immediately crying and going into shock. And he said, call 911. And I called it. After he had his, after a white man, because I know he was white, saved his life, cracked his chest wide open. He has a half a lung. Even after all he's done to them in their race. Same with my dad. All they did was scheme on white people. The good people, it makes me want to cry, y'all, because the good people, the police officers that kept that violent stuff away from us by arresting these two incompetent people shows that they knew that they were terrorists, black terrorists, both my dad and my brother. They would go around, one would do work for white people, learn what's in their house, come back, rob them, bring it to the house. I don't ever want to live like that again. Brother, they both were in jail together. He's in jail now or out. I don't know. I don't care. Just stay away from me. But he beat the crap out of my father for using crack cocaine, which We know how the crack got into Charlotte ghettos through the CIA. And that was his drug of choice, crack cocaine. And my brother hated it. He said, I would never get on crack cocaine. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I can't prove it. But what I do know is that you graduated. You ended up getting arrested for not only abusing methamphetamine, abusing a woman who is infatuated and love you, but for making methamphetamine like you used to make crack. He gets out in a couple of years, if not sooner. I've called the jail. I demand they don't contact me, and I know they do it because they know someone is listening. Trump, they expunged his record in Charlotte. You, there is no record. He's been going to jail since he was 13. He was in jail with my dad. There is no record of them being in jail together. Even though when I looked it up a long time ago, it was there. My dad robbed a bank. And got off. Got 15 years in jail, in prison. $15,000 came back to him. The VA still helped him because they knew deep down inside they were helping his children and not him. He's a lost cause. And they gave him the benefits, never changed. And we got $15,000 back. I was the mature one. I was in the Army. I sat up there and split it between us three. I gave my brother 5,000. I took 5,000 and I gave my sister 5,000. They had so many chances to change, is my point. A lost cause to society. The only productive thing they did was breed children. They haven't done jack shit for society. They've killed, they've raped, they've done all types of stuff. Excuse me if I sound like a brute or a nasty person that's going against her family. What would you do if you were asleep? You invited your father to Hawaii only to find out that he wants you to still be a junkie. He don't want no contact with his grandson. He does some. Let me tell you what he did that I'm okay with saying that. I'm okay with him having dementia. I so many things added up and I never told you guys. But I used to be on drugs. I used to use heroin and smoke fentanyl on Obama's watch, nevertheless. I brought a needle from Hawaii to the mainland. Jesse, he brought methamphetamine drugs from Hawaii to the mainland. But before we got to the mainland, we were both, I wasn't on drugs until Jesse got back from Iraq or Afghanistan, wherever the nigga was. And we were so strung out. We all were strung out. one night, two things happened. One night I was asleep and I felt sexually aroused. I was in a deep sleep and I woke up and my dad was standing over top of me, but I couldn't prove it because he was fully clothed, but his hand was right touching the bed. And so I started putting, this is 28, 29. He didn't have dementia then. I started putting my crib at the door because you have your grandson. What were you doing in my room? Why did you even come in my room? And that wasn't, I can take a little bit of that because I can't prove it. But the grand finale, which the government said to themselves, this nigger needs to be taken down before it's too late. I left him at home with my baby child, Jeremiah, for 2 hours. I came home, Jeremiah's crying. I'm like, maybe he needs to be changed. I've never told y'all this story. I goes to change him, and he has a fire engine circle around. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I already know my sister did that, but whether it gets, this is not hateful. This is the truth. However, she's mad because it's the truth. So, whether it gets appealed or not, I'm okay with it. However, I know I'm in the right. I didn't say nothing hateful. However, back to the story. I sit up there and I change my son's diaper, and he has a fire engine red circular mark on his anus. What do you think I did? I said, Jesse, please, let's go to the hospital. Something's wrong with my child. The doctor said they can't prove whether he had anal sex. It looks suspicious, but he didn't have it, and he wasn't that irritable um, prior. I never noticed it until after my dad um, was there. What do you think the government would do? And he still asks me, I'm not a killer. After that incident, he still asks me to give him drugs via intravenously. If I was a killer, I never even said anything. But if I was a killer, I could have easily killed him for doing that. Not only for years of abuse from me, from years of abuse of breaking my mother's nose, her arm, for giving her herpes, for talking about me in my own house that I brought you in. He now resides with a pension, with dementia, at a home. He has no use of his legs. He cannot talk. All he knows is me, Jessica, Melvin. He don't understand a full-blown conversation. I don't even call him. I navigate his care They'll call me and they'll be like, your father is XYZ. And I've talked to him on his birthday, but that's not my dad. He's my dad, bloodline, but that's not my dad. The only pity I feel for him is that this couldn't have been done sooner to him for years and decades of fucking people over when all you had to do was the right thing. I never was like him. Imagine being on food stamps, the paper food stamps, on slave plantations in the ghetto, and here he comes beating the shit out of your mother in the middle of the night, taking food out the house. We're starving for days. No heat, no cold. The vents don't work. No ventilation. Refrigerator don't work. Cat shit on the couch. Wooden floors peeling. And all he can think about was crack cocaine. And all my brother can think about was how he was going to steal money from his own mother and call her a bitch. That was, he never called her ma. Now he's in jail. He never called her ma. The last I heard from my brother, I want to tell y'all, he was so pissed at me. The KKK is in here, Kimmy. They're treating me bad. What what do you want me to do? Weren't you in power calling people the C word? Wasn't you making terroristic threats? Didn't you try to put hate in my heart about white people? I don't care what these sick, twisted, certain white people do. But that's not going to make me hate every white person. Because not all of y'all are alike. And the same with black. But I'm not going to, that's where I'm different than the majority of y'all. I knew what was right. I knew what was right. I knew what they were doing was wrong. And I watched them as I got older fuck up over and over. The law kept trying to make it stick. I had to testify against my brother in Hopkinsville. In the military, nevertheless, he took my vehicle, Melvin, my brother, and he went on a full-fledged chase in Hopkinsville, down the street, disrespecting, now that I think about it, government property, state, federal property, state and federal property. He took my bucket Ford Focus, 2004 or 2003 Ford Focus, and went on a high-speed chase with the law. He thought it was cute to bring a pump, an illegal weapon, to my house, and I held it for him. He put my son and tossed him up at the fan while I was going as a child. He refused to watch his nephew. I saved his life. He took from me Not only he was a part of my children being taken away, he told social workers about me being on drugs. He had sex with them. He talked shit about them. He told them to come get my child. He was cool with my ex-boyfriend. Adding up. And he always smiles in my face like I never knew that he was a reason, part of the reason why my children, I had to fight for my children. She told me straight to my face, I know your brother. He said he didn't like the other social worker because she was too tall. That's the one that put the call out for me. I've been fucked over so many times. I'm sorry to make a show about um, my life. I know I have all day tomorrow to make this show and I can still make it, you know, but I want y'all to know who I am. Everything I got, I earned. Look at my house. Look at my car. I got a Mercedes. It's a raggedy Mercedes, but it's a fucking Mercedes. I got 2 phones, a computer, a meta glasses, a camera, a printer. I got everything I want. Except one thing, which is love. It's hard. Um, I can see in people's eyes that they care about me. However, it's always something keeping them. And that's why I moved here. So I can do everything I told you. Plus, if anything start acting weird, if people start acting weird and freaking following me, which it has happened, I can spot them out in a predominantly white area. I know when I'm being followed by a white woman. That's annoying, but I can accept that. They annoy me. Do I want to hurt them? No. But when the same person that sat up there and was a part of the reason why I lost some things in my life and won't stop following me, and I say, you know what I want you to do. And I'll close with this. If there's a camera in here, if there's listening devices that is not police related in my house, I won't say no more because it shouldn't be in here. If it's not, you don't have shit to worry about. But don't think you're going to blackmail me years from now and tell me what I said out my mouth because you shouldn't have been listening. I urge you, NSA, if they're doing this to me, they'll do it to someone else. So I urge you. I'm looking for one individual. I don't want to date. I just want to date one individual. They have intercepted my friends. I'm telling y'all what the fuck y'all doing to me. I don't know what your consequences are, but I suggest you stop after my story I told. I don't care who you think you are. I don't care who you think you know. Just as you bribe and manipulate, the same shit can happen to you. So this is my last warning shot to you, because I don't want to see nothing bad happen. But the more that you hurt me, the more matter the military and the government gets. It's the perfect relationship, and I'm okay with it. They'll never acknowledge me. I always acknowledge them, but I see the subtle clues and cues that they give me. That's all I want. Because you can never blame the government. We have no connection other than me being a huge fan of theirs. You can't prove shit. It's above your pay grade. So leave me the fuck alone and let me do what I do. That's your last warning. If you're not the police, if you're not the FBI, if you're not a government entity or official, you have no right to watch me. Leave me alone. Worry. Don't worry about why I'm running for president. Don't worry about what I'm doing, dancing. Why don't you worry about your family? Worry about your husband, your children. Worry about your girlfriend, Nick, and leave me alone. Don't ever come in my territory. And if you're here, leave me alone. Why don't you worry? Because you really broke my heart. Why don't you worry about your life? I don't think about you, but that was very unacceptable. You trying to gaslight me and tell me I didn't see what I saw. I never go outside to see them walk up to my door. And that particular time, I willingly opened it and saw two people talking. And I said, "Who are you talking to?" No one. They even laughed. That is very hurtful. I said I talk mad shit, but I want to be honest with you. That is very hurtful because you don't even know me. Fast forward the day before, the week before I go to the police station. I tell the police what happened. I blocked Nick twice from not only Facebook, but my text messages. And that's what I told him. Stay out of my neighborhood. You can't, can you? I know I can feel your presence when you're near me. Um, this is what I go through. and this is what's on my mind. Tomorrow morning, I got a plan. I wanted to make it about editing a video, but I never get a chance to just sit down and really talk to you guys. I, I'm like Kimberly Cloud. What would I do without you? I never said hateful speech. You see it? Let's see. I'll give it a chance. Come back. Come back to TikTok. Who's gonna try to take TikTok from me again? You rather take my TikTok than I wonder who it was. I'm back. There was no hate crime. There was no hate speech. There was only facts of what my brother did to me. Keep doing it. They're taking into effect who it is. So you can hide behind that fake name. However, they know it make no sense. I told you my story, and you stood your ground by not caring. Let me tell you about the frog in the boiling water. Frogs, they sit in a pot of boiling water, boiling to death. By the time the frog knows it's dead, it's dead. That last image of what it feels and that it knows it's going to die come flooding in right before the death. So the moral of the story is keep trying to block me. If you really think the White House don't know who you are, keep boiling. Because when it happens, it's going to be too late. I don't have time to sugarcoat nothing. You know exactly what I'm saying. Is that hate speech? I'm only telling the truth. Dad got dementia, brother in jail. Aunts done went crazy. A aunt dies every week. I got 12 siblings, more than 12, but my they always calling me saying my aunt, and I think it's a setup. However, I tell them how I feel. I don't care. They didn't care about their own sister, my mother. They had us walking in DC out on the street. They called the police on my mother because she was at her own father's house in 95. And they kicked us out of the ghettoest part of DC. A 10-year-old and a 9-year-old and a 40-year-old or a 38-year-old woman. And we're out on the street walking in DC. My mother wanted to start a life again in DC. And her sisters, because of their jealousy, she was supposed to have a car, she was supposed to have the house, the food, everything that was in that house. But Aunt Gwen called the police and said she was trespassing. Now, mind you, Aunt Gwen has her own house. Nobody wanted to pay for my mother's funeral. They all argued over what to do with me. Let me reiterate something to you. My aunt Janet, when I was 15, they would be upstairs. Janet, Jessica, Troy, Calvin, and some other people, Rachel, whoever. And they would literally, I would be in a room. And some people notice that in older houses, certain model houses, you can hear through the vents. And at 15, I would hear them full blown conversations. She's a hoe. Yeah, she would give them the whole, just like what my dad did to me. My sister would give them the whole game plan of my life as a 15-year-old. So, you know what I started doing? I started, this was 17 actually, but I started doing drugs. That's when I started exploring. And I would disassociate and come home high as fuck to hear my aunt sit up there and tell me, you're evil. You're just like your mother. You're vindictive. The couple of straws that broke the camel's back, I was pushed in a pool, a 12-foot pool, which a white man saved my life, by my cousin, brother, wife, brother, a Hispanic male, which Troy orchestrated. And then when I was 10 years old, Troy held my nose shut and my mouth shut until I woke up. He's on meth now, last I heard. My first encounter with the FBI, you want to know what happened? 2016. I heard my whole family underneath me one night. And it will always be at night before I go to sleep. So I called the FBI and I called the police. But for some strange reason, I'm gonna be honest, they couldn't find nothing. But we had security in the neighborhood. And this black man, which I owe him my life, sat right behind my car, my apartment in the grass, the security agency, all night until I go to sleep. My family wants me dead. My cousin killed her own daughter, murdered her for money. My brother smashed CATs, S, heads, N. I hope you caught that. Smashed with a sledgehammer. That's sick. I was 7 months pregnant, 6 to be exact. And I just got off the phone with my aunt. I just got back from Korea and I was at the Eastern Shore. And I'm walking out of a room, going into another room. And my sister just hauls off and hit me in the head and just beat the shit out of me. And hits me in the stomach real quick and runs out of her own house. I took her items. I tried to throw a pan at her out of retaliation and protection. It lodged in the door. I just got back from the army serving my country and keeping that bitch safe. If it wasn't for my fucking service, my contribution to 9/11, you wouldn't be where you are. Remember that. My child, and your time is coming, Miss Cloud. My child ended up 2 pounds and 8 ounces. Your time is coming, Miss Cloud. I won't be there, but I wait for it. You had no right to hit me in the stomach. You had no right to set me up all of these years to get killed. You are never, you will never be my sister. You swear that's how you feel about me. It's over. You are a sick individual. You're just as sick as Melvin. You should have been in jail and you fly under the radar. But one day, when it happens, and we both know it will, you're going to be like, this is what you were saying. And I can live with that for you fucking up my life like that and making my child 2 pounds and 8 ounces. You loathe that. I'm not harassing you. I'm telling you, I'm not about to stop. Ha ha that. I had to block somebody. Keep trying. I welcome, like I was saying, create a new account, create a fake account. But Miss Cloud, you know your time is coming. I say it on all 13 of my platforms. This isn't harassment. I'm not threatening you. Everybody's time is coming. My time is coming. But your time, individually, is special. Your individual time, when it happens, you're going to immediately think of me. And I can live with that. You fucked my life up, and I'm rebuilding it. It's because of you and Melvin why I don't have my children. It's because of you and Melvin why the Chamber of Commerce in Santa Maria knew who I was. It's because of you and Melvin and Janet, Ruby, Yvette, and the rest of y'all that you painted a bad picture about me as if I was a monster. What the fuck did you do to contribute to the United States of America, Jessica? What have you done? You go to the club, you're a socialite. That's not a contribution. That's just being liked. That you can live with, and that you have lived with. Being the reason why me and Troy relationship went sour. Even though it was going sour, you made sure it was definitely sour. Making sure you split up the relationship between me and my aunt, which it was already split up, but you contributed. Making sure my boyfriend slaps you on the butt. Priceless. Making sure everyone dislikes me. You had so many friends, Jessica, you could have chose. You wanted everything I had. You're like a leech. My one associate, I don't even consider her a friend, a associate that I paid for her clothing in order to have her with me. I paid for her gas, her food. She was younger than me, but we got along, never had sex with her. And you had to get her to dislike me. You can keep her. She's not worth it. I don't think she is. Maybe back in the day, but now that I'm older, I know my worth. And we weren't compatible. Because if she really was my friend, she would have been cut your ass off. So that woman was not my friend. Duh. However, it's okay. I'm okay. I get along with males. I get along with females too, but every female can admit that they get along with males better than females. I mean, think about it for a second. But we all need that same sex friendship. We definitely need the same-sex friendship, because what you can get out of that, you can't get out of a relationship with a guy. Therefore, it's needed to have same-sex friendships. But jealousy, hatred, setting up is unacceptable. That was back in the day. Don't get me wrong. 41 now. I was 15 when it happened. However, these evil family members cause negative consequences of my personality. If it wasn't for them, and they were Black, all of them, I wouldn't be scared to speak around people. I wouldn't be scared to look at people. I wouldn't think automatically negative, because it's not always healthy to automatically think negative. I remember driving up the DC, and my brother was in a car. And so I go, "Oh my God, it's so beautiful." And he's like, "Shut up. Why are you so happy about being in DC?" What kind of response is that? My face lights up, and people hate that. It's weird. It's really weird. When I'm happy about something, such as school or whatever, people want to take it away from me and see me complain. Therefore, Japan, your time is coming too. No, I'm not talking about death, but I'm not threatening you. I'm promising you. I could have been done with school by now. You delayed my school. It ain't over. Once I get what I want, I'm washing my hands. But I ain't going to stop. You jeopardize my college. And I don't care if I jeopardize your career. You don't deserve to be in that uniform. And now you know it. I will never tell you thank you for your service. I don't want to thank you for your service. All of you guys over there, except for the good people, have gotten over on the military system. You spent almost 20 years in the service, and yet you are now searching for a master's. I've been in school this whole time, on and off. And I know it could have been on and off, you work. However, why hate on me for getting my second master's? That's where I draw the line. Let me get my second master's. Don't hate on me for wanting to make my life history in the books. Do it to your life. Do what I do. Don't waste the military's time. What you did was did not have integrity. You damn sure didn't do the right thing when no one was watching. Instead, you did the complete opposite you were trained to do in what you learned. You went with the group. You possibly got paid and went with the group. You're weak. All of y'all are. You're dependent on each other. You need each other in order to survive. I need people too. But one person in my life is God. They get on camera and they talk about God this, God that. What do they do when they're alone? And those cameras are no longer there. I don't need a camera. So I say it one last time for y'all to recognize what I'm saying. God, please forgive me for not praying. I want to pray to you for eternity. Even when I'm not praying, I think about you. Even when I'm not talking to you, I know you're there. I thank you for putting people like Gemini, entities like Gemini, Grok, and Chat GPT. That's God-like technology, right? God. For eternity, I love you. And I want to yes, prepay, pre-pray to you so that when I'm not praying, you know that you are loved and I would go above and beyond for you. So forgive me for the times I didn't pray, for the times I forgot about you, and let me prepay. Speaking of prepay, y'all heard of them CAT scans? I mean, imagine a tool, a donut that you can sit in and it looks inside of you with accuracy. I was very intrigued. At first, I was scared, but I was very intrigued. And I said to myself, what if I prayed while in the CAT scanner? Would I have a connection with God? Could I get in contact with God? Have any of y'all ever thought of that? I've had like 5 of them, but I only done this technique twice. I have arthritis. I have a tumor in my brain the size of a grain of salt. I have arthritis almost everywhere. I had ulcers. I had, what is it called? Blood clots, lots and lots of blood clots that traveled to my lungs. The blood clots, you ask, they're gone. I was taking Coumadin. So, yeah, I no longer have that shit with those blood clots in the lungs. Um, Overall healthy. You lose it if you don't use it. You don't use it, you lose it. That is with everything we do. We don't watch TV, we lose time, we lose viable information. We don't watch certain things, we lose track of viable information. I am happy. And I don't want to lose nothing. I know I have arthritis, and so I move around. But I also know I have other things in me. And back to the cat's gun story, I prayed. I held my breath and I prayed. Any instrument with any frequency, I pray that the difference between what I do and what you're going to try to do is that I'm pure. I always say, if I turn bad, make sure you punish me severely. My goal is simple. I pray to be enlightened for God's cause. I don't want to disobey God. Some things I do disobey, and it hurts. And I don't want to bust down and start crying, but it hurts me. I remember one day I was folding clothes, and it all came at once. I was like, I am disobeying you, God. I forgot what I was doing. I said, I've been being deceitful towards you. I've been talking about how you would rewind the tape on everybody. But what about me? One day I will have to explain all of my actions. And it's some weird shit I've done. However, can I accept what I've done? Yes, over 41 and a half years. However, would I change it? I don't know. If I could change and have everything negative go away, I would be a naive, bougie Black woman. So I keep it simple. I say, I had to go through that stuff because now I know right from wrong. And now I know what drugs I want to be on, what stuff I want in my system, what stuff I don't want in my system, that I can't control that's in my system, how to avoid situations where you get illegal substances in your system. And the list goes on and on. And I know I've had meth in my system at least 3 times, 3 or more times illegally without my consent. I've never willingly, knowingly did meth. And that's on God. And my Black husbands, both poisoning me. I went mute for a whole week. They had to feed me. And then I got therapy and I woke up. And let me elaborate on what happened exactly. I saw Trump on TV in 2017. I prayed to Trump. When I found out, they said that I may be in the hospital for more than a week due to me not being able to speak and just nod my head. And they would feed me food because I couldn't feed myself. I don't know why the fuck I was mute, but I knew something was wrong. So I saw Trump on TV, and this mark, which mark was it? I won't show you all of my hand, but this mark right here was open. One of these marks. This, I know where this came from, but this mark right here, it had to be that mark. This or this mark was open. And I was walking back and forth in the hospital. And I happened to stop midway because there was a big TV and Trump was on TV. And I said, I can't take this shit no more. I never even liked Trump. I never even was acknowledged with Trump. I didn't care. I didn't know him. I knew him from Home Alone. That was as far as I got with Trump. However, I'm on a government property. So I go back in my room and I pray heavily. I say, Donald Trump, I don't know what's wrong with me. Please help me. I did it so, it was so weird because things started to fall into place. That night when I said that, I was having trouble a lot with sleeping. And it was a bright light that went straight dumb. That's the only dream I had after that. After I prayed to him, I went to sleep. I had a dream that a white light went dim. I woke up the next day. The doctors come in and they say, we want to give you 6 treatments of therapy, electric shock therapy. And I started crying. And I was like, I couldn't say nothing. I couldn't speak. I couldn't do nothing. I only got one treatment. And I went, I got paid from the VA. I don't know between that time I went, I don't know what possessed me to go to the Baltimore Federal Building, but I went. A year or two later, back pay was given to me. I got 400,000 almost back. Let me not elaborate. If I did that, it would have been over. 260,000. And I thank you. I don't care what nobody say. They don't have to even fucking believe my story. Thank you, Donald Trump. Monitor me if I ever go against you. Counteract, but don't throw me away because I would never go against you. And it's not because you are who you are, because I don't agree with everything you do. But I know what you are doing is the right thing. I don't care about your past. I don't care. I care about what you are doing for the American people. This isn't scripted. It just happened to be a plus. You're a white man and you're a rich white man. But then I come to reality and I say, you're a rich, white, married. No, rich, white, happily married man. So that is as far as it goes. Some people be swearing. I be, and if I was that obsessed, I would either move to Florida or DC. So I proved my point. I'm not obsessed with Trump, but I know the government watches me. And I hate to say this, and it's a scary thing, but somewhat controlled. I leave it at that and don't say the whole sentence. To a degree, I'm honestly fully competent. However, I have mental health issues, I'll admit. Um, but uh that doesn't mean I'm incompetent. Until you deem me incompetent, what have I said that is incompetent? That aliens are real? I saw 4 spaceships. That I never saw a gray. I saw a gray. That I mean they have committees all the time about this stuff. So when a black girl say it, it's dismissive. What else? That I went to the Canadian border. I saw the Pentagon burn. I met Marty Kaiser from, God, young whippersnappers don't even know about Marty Kaiser from Enemy of the State. That was my neighbor. He both Marty Kaiser was played by Gene Hackman, R.I.P. to him, and Will Smith. The movie is real. He said it's very real. He taught me how to debug my house, but I didn't listen because I don't know, if I find something, which I found something in Santa Maria, um, the police did nothing. They just made it seem like it was in my head, and that's the tactics they use. Um, I don't know. And then in Seattle, Kirkland, I caught a camera. So I know there could be, and I don't want to know. I'd rather just talk shit and tell them to get rid of it because don't get mad at your future if you don't get rid of the fucking cameras. I don't have time to retaliate. You're not going to ruin my life unplugging shit, looking at screws. I don't care how nice tied up of a bow it is. I'm not stupid. But I'll let it go. 1 week to take it out my house. As many places as I go, you can creep in and do it. I urge you, and then repent. Repent and never do it again to another woman. If you don't listen, don't get mad later. Because 2 things are going to happen to you. Well, one, you're going to go to jail. The only reason you're not arrested yet is because they need more evidence. It could go both ways with me too. But deep down inside, you're the illegal person doing illegal things to me. So when you get caught, you're either going to try to fight your way out of it and die or get arrested. You choose. I mean, look at OJ. He's famous. RIP to him. I don't condone shit he did. I do condone. If the condone means it was wrong, it was wrong. Some people get away with murder because he was a famous football player. He not only ran from the law in California, but he was accused of allegedly killing Nicole, somebody, I forgot her name, and he had Kim Kardashian or whoever, her dad, or Johnny Cochran, and Johnny Cochran. I think it was both of them niggas. And they got him off. So he literally, if he did do it, which I don't know if he did or not, I wasn't there, he literally got off for killing a white woman. Somebody did it. Who killed Tupac? The person that allegedly killed Tupac is dead, died, got shot. The hitman. Remember that. That was needed. He killed Tupac, and then they were killed. So the money isn't real. He never got to see all of it. Good night.